never planned to leave my marriage on a Tuesday. If you'd asked me a week before, I would have told you we were fine. Not happy, not miserable, just functioning. Like a car with a warning light you keep ignoring because it still starts in the morning. That Tuesday started like every other day. I woke up before my alarm, already tired. I lay there listening to my husband breathe beside me, wondering when sleep had stopped feeling like rest and started feeling like a pause between responsibilities. I got up quietly, made coffee, packed his lunch the way I always did, sandwich, apple, note on a sticky pad that said, "Have a good day." I wrote those notes every day, not because he asked, because I thought that's what love looked like. Consistency, effort, showing up even when you felt invisible. He walked into the kitchen, kissed my cheek without really looking at me, and started scrolling on his phone. "Morning," I said. "Morning," he replied, distracted. I waited for eye contact, for a question, for anything that said I existed beyond the routine. Nothing came. That's when it hit me. Not all at once, but like a slow, sinking realization I'd been ignoring for years. I wasn't lonely because I was alone. I was lonely because I wasn't seen. We'd been married 8 years, together for 12. From the outside, we looked solid. No screaming fights, no cheating scandals, no dramatic blow-ups. Just two people slowly shrinking around each other. Somewhere along the way, I became the manager of our life instead of a partner in it. I remembered appointments, paid bills, bought gifts for his family, kept track of birthdays, holidays, groceries, dog food, and the emotional temperature of our home. If something went wrong, I fixed it. If something went right, it was expected. I told myself this was adulthood. This was commitment. This was what the strong women did. But deep down, I was exhausted in a way sleep couldn't fix. The moment that changed everything happened that evening. I came home late from work. My boss had dumped a last-minute project on me again. I was stressed, hungry, and honestly just wanted someone to ask if I was okay. I walked into the house and found my husband sitting on the couch, gaming, headset on, laughing with his friends online. The sink was full of dishes. The trash hadn't been taken out. The dog needed to be walked. I stood there for a moment, holding my bag, feeling ridiculous for hoping he'd notice. He didn't. I finally said, "Hey, can you pause for a second?" He sighed, took off one ear cup. "What?" Not hey, not what's up, just what. I told him I'd had a rough day, that I was overwhelmed, that I needed help. He looked at me like I'd just handed him an inconvenient task. "Can this wait?" he asked. "I'm in the middle of a game." Something inside me went very quiet. I nodded. "Yeah, sure." And I walked into the bedroom and closed the door. I didn't cry. That's the part that scared me the most. I just sat on the edge of the bed and felt empty. That night, lying next to him, I realized something terrifying. If I stayed, this would be my life forever, and no one was coming to save me from it. I didn't leave the next day. Or the next week. I stayed another 3 months. I tried everything I was supposed to try. Conversations, lists, counseling, explaining my feelings in calm, careful words so he wouldn't feel attacked. He said he'd try harder. He did for about 2 weeks. Then things went back to normal. And I realized something else. He wasn't cruel. He wasn't abusive. He was just comfortable. And my unhappiness wasn't enough to make him uncomfortable enough to change. The Tuesday I left, nothing dramatic happened. No fight, no slammed doors, no screaming. I made dinner. We ate mostly in silence. He talked about work. I nodded. Afterward, I cleared the table while he went back to the couch. I stood at the sink, staring at my reflection in the dark window. I looked older than I remembered, smaller, like someone who had learned to disappear politely. That's when I said it. "I don't think I can do this anymore." He muted the TV, turned around. "What do you mean?" I took a breath that felt like jumping off a cliff. "I'm lonely," I said, "and I've been lonely for a long time." He laughed a little like he thought I was exaggerating. "We're married," he said. "How can you be lonely?" That question told me everything. I moved out 2 weeks later. The first night alone in my tiny apartment, I sat on the floor eating takeout straight from the container. The place echoed. It was quiet. It was terrifying. And somehow, it felt like relief. I cried that night, not because I missed him, but because I finally admitted how unhappy I'd been. I cried for the woman I was before I learned to settle, for the parts of myself I'd packed away to keep the peace. It's been a year now. People still ask me if I regret it. Sometimes I miss the idea of being married, the stability, the shared history, but I don't miss feeling invisible in my own life. I don't miss begging for attention that should have been freely given. I don't miss shrinking. Leaving didn't make my life perfect, but it made it mine, and that, finally, feels like love.